up, everyone? Monday night here, March 20th. We're almost in March 20th. It's February 20th. I'm getting ahead of myself, Kurt. I was thinking it's almost March.
I wish it was more.
I got the COVID fog out of the way. I'm feeling good. How you doing, man? I know I kind of struggled through a playback and a live show on Saturday. I was basically horizontal for 5 days, but I am good to go now. What's up, man?
Man, this is the first 4-gamer we've on a Monday in a while. So we've been having the 2 and the 3 games. So it's nice that we kind of have a 4-gamer ready to get in. It's going to be a big week for us, a lot of eyeballs, new eyeballs. So welcome new people. And it's a pretty solid slate. I mean, not too much news to go by besides the big Terry Shannon news. So looks like a fun slate, ready to get after it. 10K up top, gotta like that.
Yeah, this is a good appetizer. I think tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be crazy. We saw a lot more people in the lobby today. I think that is obviously the case tomorrow and Wednesday with no NBA. So hopefully we get off to a good start here. Do you want to talk first just kind of about let's see, we got 4 games here, so we don't have to go too quick. What about over the weekend? Like, did anything stand out to you over the weekend? Did you watch much of the action?
Yes, but I can't. That's all I did on Saturdays, but you'd have to jog my memory because that's all I did Saturday and Sunday, honestly. But as far as pinpointing a game, you'd have to ask me specific questions.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we saw Memphis kind of push Houston, which was I thought pretty surprising without Kendrick Davis. Saturday we saw Bam put up 110, which was awesome. But one of the big things on Saturday was that Kansas-Baylor game. Baylor runs out super hot early in the first half at Kansas.
15 points.
They were up a dozen or so, and then Kansas just boat raced them in the second half. I think it's a good spot for TCU today. We'll get to that game. Kansas with the quick turnaround just 2 days later at TCU, which have been really, really good at home. Elsewhere on Saturday, Kentucky beat Tennessee for the second time. I think, we'll talk about it in the coming weeks, but Tennessee is going to be a flimsy high seed just because, sometimes they just can't put the ball in for 10 straight minutes. Yeah, but the guys that are hurt can't shoot either.
No, they can't. But they can score. And JJJ can shoot sometimes, some games. He has those games.
I have concerns going into the tournament that they're going to be able to put together,
I always
4+ straight games where they're making shots, Indiana beat Illinois. That was huge for them. The Miami win. God, they're 22-5. So yeah, it was a good weekend for us. I know tomorrow and Wednesday are big, but let's hop into these games here. We got 4 of them tonight. Couple duds, but highlighted by the Kansas TCU game for sure. We'll start with Louisville Duke. Louisville 278th at KenPom. Kurt, 278 out of 370 or so. I think they're the second lowest Power 5 team. I think Cal is the only one lower. Duke is 34th. Starting to ascend a bit here, Kurt. With they got Whitehead back. I think the freshmen are starting to put it together. We saw Lively start the season hurt, and I put in the playbook. He was hurt, and then he couldn't stop fouling, and then he was bad, and then he was both of those. But over the last couple of weeks, I think him figuring it out, plus Whitehead being healthy, is the key to them kind of having a ceiling. KenPom's got Duke winning this game 78-59, so we do have some blowout concerns. What are your overall thoughts on this game, Kurt?
So yeah, the freshmen have really come along, and with Lively, he didn't. So he wants to block every single shot, and he'd not learned how to hunt those blocks down without fouling like a fucking moron. And he finally did learn. And that block party was oh my God, he almost had a triple double with blocks. He had 4 points, 15 rebounds, 11 blocks. I could be wrong in the stat, but it was something like that. And it's whoa, holy shit. And this Louisville team is someone that he could probably go out and have that block upside again because they have one guard, we've said all year. So I like Lively again. And Proctor's actually came along too. Same with Whitehead. I'm on Whitehead tonight. I like what I've seen. I know he's off the bench, but I don't care. I think the minutes tick up. Hopefully it's not too much of a blowout. I do have some interest in this Duke team. I'm hoping it's not. They keep it in 50 because Louisville's been keeping games close lately. It feels like false hope, but I still want to go after a couple of them. Don't go too crazy. Like I think one or two. Like if you go Flip and someone else, I wouldn't go two of the like sub 7K guys for Duke. It just feels a little bit too murky. Then for Louisville, it's a complete shit show.
Yeah, well, since we have some more time and we have some new viewers, you can kind of explain what these two teams are about. So Louisville's 4-23. Their coach Kenny Payne came into the season with one guard on his roster, and the rest are power forwards and centers. So that's gone about how you would imagine it going, especially when that one guard isn't a ball handler. Before the season, he was mainly a shooting guard. So, despite that, I think Ellis has, I wouldn't say played well, but for fantasy, it's been good because he's got a 30% shot rate. His assist rate is north of 32%. It's top 40 in the country. So, like, if Louisville keeps this game close, it's because Ellis has a ceiling scoring game. I played him over the weekend. He was on that afternoon slate on Saturday, Kurt. Actually took that whole slate down. That was fun. Behind a big game from Ellis. So, while Duke is really tough defensively, I think Ellis is a fun pivot in that 7K range, not like a priority play, not a guy I would use if I was playing one team because, you're paying 8K for a guy with like a 58 team total, right? But besides that, on the Louisville side, he's kind of condensed the rotation a bit with the forwards, specifically two guys that I want to ask you about. Jalen Withers, who we liked coming into the season, has seen 3 straight games over 30 minutes. And then JJ Traynor, I think a contrarian budget option on this slate at 4.6, has seen 29, 31, and 34 minutes in their last 3 games, with his rates really going up lately. What are your thoughts on those 3 guys, starting with Ellis and then on to Withers and Traynor?
If you think the game stays close, I think Ellis is someone you can target. It's just, 78 is a lot to play. But if the game stays close, you had to think he at least like flirts with 4X here. So don't hate that but I would probably run it back with 2 Duke guys because it means the game stayed close, 70, 80 type game, something like that. And then as far as the forwards go, so Kufra was playing 20 minutes. He's been out the last 2 games. So the minutes have got like a minutes bump for, like a little bit of everyone. But Kamari Lands has a chance to play 30 some games. We're not playing muscle hamster. JJ Traynor and Withers would be like the only. And then, it's just so bad. And Mike Gaines will play 30 minutes and then not do anything, but I'm not paying 5.5. So it's really just Traynor and Lands. But it's still so thin, man.
Yeah, I think I would rather just take the savings and play Traynor if I was playing a Louisville forward. Because at 6'2", there's a lot of opportunity cost with clicking Withers, and then he gives you like 18. My preference is to not play any Louisville, especially, if you're firing in one team or 3 teams. I think you can avoid them with this team total. Let's go to the Duke side. I'll let you start first. Do you have any favorite plays? I know your core is up. I think Filipowski was in there.
Yeah, I got Flip in there and actually Whitehead too. Because like I said, Louisville's been keeping the game close. I always give a way more GPP oriented core than Steve. I like to go a little bit crazy. That is like the first team I build right there. And then I'll mix in some safe plays with my core, like plays from the core. That's how I do it. So that's been the best recipe for the subs too. Just taking Steve's core, mix in some of the crazy guys that I got, and then boom. It's just chef's kiss to a bink. I like Whitehead and Proctor. I like what I've seen lately. Obviously, Lively is projecting well. He's going to be high owned. I'm not going to tell you we all know he's a good play, so no issue there. But as far as like some of the ancillary pieces, I like Whitehead and Proctor the most. I think both came along. I do not want both in the same lineup. I think it's a scenario where one or the other has a good game. I think it's extremely rare both get there. So
both of who?
Whitehead and Proctor together getting there seems very far-fetched. So I'm going Whitehead just for the $500 savings. That's where I'm going. I know he's off the bench. Don't care if he's going to be like 5% owned. For a guy like that, he's been shooting it great. If he has one of those games where the volume gets ticked up, I think he could have a ceiling performance here.
Whitehead, yeah, I played him when they were on the slate over the weekend. You see the 19 minutes and it kind of scares you, but they were up like 30 something, and he didn't play the last, I don't know, 12 or 14 of the game. He was actually on pace to play like 28. So
yeah, I thought he would get those. I played him because I thought he would get those blowout minutes. I'm like, he's off the bench. They'll give him that like late kick run.
I think they're protecting the injury,
Yeah.
And they were up huge. Like he was having a good game. Like if you click in, what did he end up with there?
He looked good.
25 in 19 minutes. He looked great out there. I kind of think that he's generally under projected in where I've looked so far, just because I think the minutes are going to be more like 26 to 28 than the 22 to 24 that you're seeing around the industry. So I think Whitehead is the best like tournament play, just because there's some risk in the minutes, but I believe that with the upside, like he's so good when he's out there that every additional minute for him is huge. The lively play I'm a bit concerned with, because I think that he's going to come in with monster ownership, especially on a slate like this where people play names that they've seen, and he was like the top recruit in the country. And to someone who hasn't been watching, he might look underpriced at 6.6, but this is the highest price that he's been, because he was hurt. Like we said, he was hurt, and then he was fouling, and then he was bad, and then he was fouling again. He's gone 5 straight games. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 straight games without foul trouble. I don't know how. I mean, it does help that they're at Duke, I guess. It's a good matchup. I guess what I'm saying is I'm a bit weary of playing an extreme fouler at almost 7K at high ownership. Definitely has the upside. I don't mind if you use him, but just know that going in that he could foul twice in the first 4 minutes and he's going to be 40% owned. One note on college in general, you're going to see ownership condensed around the best plays. It makes less sense in college than in the NBA to try to find those 1%, 2% plays, because especially in college, there's just less guys in general in play. So the guys that are decent to good plays are going to always have ownership. Is there anyone else on Duke that you like here? You like Filipowski. I prefer Jalen Wilson if picking one, just because of the game environment. Yeah, I think that there's a decent chance that Duke just shit kicks him here, and kind of the same thing happens like what happened in the Syracuse game, where they just bench everyone last 10 minutes. And if that's the case at 9-4, I mean, Filipowski was awesome in that game, but if Proctor or Roach or something is the reason why they're up 30 and not Filipowski, you're just not going to get those late minutes. So that's my concern there. I think he's a really good play. Obviously, they have the highest team total on the slate. So, I mean, he's a fine play. I'm just poking holes so that people know. Any last words on this game here?
They've been blowing a lot of teams out. For a team that's not great, they beat the shit out of teams this year. And like the teams they should, obviously. And it's like, oh God, I wish they would kind of stop doing that, because like the couple of times I've had Flip. But I just know his ceiling. So I knew that you would probably core Jalen, because it's the highest total, and that's been our boy for since he was almost flirting with triple doubles at the end of last year. So I was like, I'll go the opposite way, and I'll do a build where it's like, okay, what if the Duke game stays kind of close? So that's kind of how mine's set up. But all those same risks that Steve mentioned, I fully aware of, and I'll know where I'm going after 7 o'clock, so I can make insane pivots on some of those 9 o'clock chalk plays. But that's all I got for Duke.
All right, let's move on. Next game is an interesting one. Oklahoma State at West Virginia. Ken Palm's got Oak State 32nd, West Virginia 26, so pretty close there. He's got it West Virginia 73 to 69. His teams played earlier this year. I think West Virginia won at Oklahoma State 67-60, something like that. Two really, really good defensive teams. So the pace is pretty good, but both teams are very tough to score on. So I would be careful taking a bunch of pieces from this game. I would say probably, if you're playing a bunch of lineups, max 3 from this game for sure. Probably want 2 to be safe, just because the late games have A, the high total, and then B, the value that opens up with Terry Shannon being probably out, which we'll get to. Any overall thoughts on this game, Kurt? I think the Cisse thing is interesting. We've seen Mike Boynton kind of condense the minutes for the guards since Avery Anderson went out for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, your uncle Mike Boynton. So I watched this game in the entire. I don't have a life, so I went ahead and rewatched this entire game. And this was actually the game that Cisse fucked up his ankle. He hurt it in the first half, came back, but didn't look right, and then ended up missing those couple games after that. So, but what he was doing in the beginning was awesome, and him and Caleb Boone were just absolutely feasting. Like, West Virginia's interior defense is not bad, but like Caleb Boone, anytime he got matched up with Jimmy Bell, it was barbecue chicken. I mean, that guy just got absolutely hot in the second half. And it wasn't with Cisse like off the floor. Like when Cisse came back, Caleb Boone was still cooking anytime Bell was guarding him. So it wasn't that. So I will say I do like the thought of having one or the other, especially if Cisse starts. I know the pricing isn't great, but just from what I watch, and you're like not main team, but maybe the second lineup you make, having one or the other. I like the thought of doing that.
Yeah, I thought I saw a note. I'm pulling it up now. That Boynton is liking bringing Cisse off the bench.
Damn, I was hoping that would be the case.
I don't see why that would be the case when they just got their shit pushed in over the weekend. So hopefully that makes them change it up. Cool. So yeah, like Cisse, his rates are so good that him starting and getting those extra like 5 or 8 minutes is so huge. Because like his rebound and block upside is just awesome. So Cisse, if he starts, I think is a really fun tournament play. I think my favorite 2 plays on the Oak State side are Bryce Thompson, the former 5-star from Kansas. He is a pure chucker, 26% shot rate. Usually doesn't give you much peripherally, but he's been, the assist rate is climbing a bit. I think the best play though is John Michael Wright. Just playing massive minutes since the Avery Anderson injury, isn't really coming off the court, and is consistently paying off that mid 5K tag. I don't think he's like a guy that you want to start your lineups with, but if you end in that mid 5K range, I think he's the best play in that range. Any thoughts on the guards there, Kurt?
Yeah, so I definitely 100% every lineup, main team you do, you're going to have – I think you should have one of these OK State guards. I think that one definitely gets there. In order, the main team I built today, which is the one I did my core on, the way it's set up, the only one I had left as a final piece, all I had enough was for Ashbury. But if I had to rank them and you're starting your lineup with one of them, I'm going to go John Michael Wright and then Thompson. If pricing doesn't matter, it'd be in pricing order, obviously Thompson, John Michael Wright, and then Ashbury. But John Michael Wright, man, I really liked what I saw in the film. Now, when they last played, Avery Anderson did play, so the box score might be a little skewed because of that, because Avery Anderson actually looked great that game too. But Avery Anderson and John Michael Wright got to the basket whenever they absolutely wanted. So, and he actually shot decent that game too. Had a couple good looks. But he was extremely aggressive when he was out there, so I'm hoping that will be the case again tonight. He's been Mr. Steady Eddie, been playing max minutes. Nothing should change here, so I like him as a really safe piece tonight.
Yeah, and then on the West Virginia side, couple guys I think in play, clearly the best play, and a guy that I liked a lot on Saturday and ended up using on my main team, Kedrian Johnson, still priced under 6K. And we saw him in the mid 6s for a lot of the season. Him being at 5-1 on Saturday just kind of shocked me. So we jammed him at 5-1. He crushed. Now gets, it's not as good of a matchup, but he's still at home. How many minutes did he play in that game? He played 35 minutes, so 33 and 35 in their last 2 games. The shot rate's up to 16%, assist rate 32%. Just a really safe play in the 5K range there at 5'8". I prefer Kedrian over the Oklahoma State guards. If you're picking one, I think you can play both. But, if you are choosing one in that range, I think Kedrian's the best play in that range. I put him in my core, actually, Kurt. I think he fits builds really well. So, any thoughts on Kedrian? And then do you like any other of these West Virginia guys?
Man,
Maybe like a
Key,
Joe Toussaint,
say what?
like a Joe Toussaint or something, maybe.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, so I had Key on that Saturday too. The pricing was so weird, but had him. It was a great day. He just always scares the shit out of me, man. This pricing is too good. He should honestly be like 6'5", but it's just he's so involved. Like as long as he doesn't foul, you have to think he gets there at 5'8". So I had to have interest. As far as the other guys, like I agree with you said, Trey Mitchell. Like I know you said in the playbook about him having. I mean, like the usage just isn't there anymore, though. Like the dude is talented. He had a good game against him last time, but for some reason, it's just not. I mean, Stevens is literally chucking, and then when Key's healthy, he's taking. It's just not. He's not been assertive at all either. So the talent is there. Just know that main team play that you might come out and not get the great usage. I like the thought of a stab. Okay, so this is a main team play, but taking a stab on the big man James Okongwu. 19 minutes last game, starting to eat in the Jimmy Bell a little bit. So, and I mean, this OK State, they play big. They play both teams want to play two bigs. Like West Virginia wants to play Trey Mitchell and then one of these other bigs. And OK State wants to have Cisse, Caleb Boone on the court. That's the old school basketball. So that's how they're going to match up with it. So I imagine James could see 15 to 20 here again. He came along a little bit lately. Decent fantasy per minute guy. I know my boy C-Dome likes him today, and I think I'm going to be on him too for a stab.
Yeah, he was like a guy that I left out of the playbook just because I didn't want people to click him at 3K thinking he was some lock. But yeah, I mean, he's a high upside swing that could give you 25 or could give you 3. And it's a tough as shit matchup too. So like playing front court players against Oklahoma State, you're going right into the teeth of their defensive strength. One of the best teams in the entire country at the rim. Any last words on this game, Kurt? We need to move on to these last two, I think.
Stevenson's a lock on FanDuel. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. We didn't mention him. I don't usually chase Stevenson scoring games.
Expensive.
He's one of the most volatile players in the country.
He's only like 5'8" on FanDuel.
Let's do the Illinois game first. So this game has the Terry Shannon news. I believe it's a concussion, right? So I think he's on the doubtful side, based on what I've seen, what I've heard from people that are usually in the know about these things. So I'm approaching this as that he's out. Hopefully people are tentative to do that and use a bunch of salary early. I'm being picky with the first 2 games, and I'm going to slam these second 2 games is my strategy. So we saw on Saturday without him, Matt Mayer just crazy, and was low owned. I think that he will be owned here, but it's the cheap guys that are interesting. Jaden Epps played the whole game, looked great. I love this Ty Rodgers kid, Kurt. Just does all the stuff on the court that the team needs to win, and the coach knows it. He's playing more and more. I think 26 and 27 minutes in their last 2 games. The peripherals are great. So I put in my core, if Terry is out, I'm playing Mayer. I'm not going to miss the fucking Mayer Barry again. And then 2 of the 3 cheap guys. So 2 of Jaden Epps, Ty Rodgers, and then if you're getting frisky, some Luke Good, who came back. Underwood has talked, like, coming into the season, he was going to start him before he got hurt. He was hurt like the entire season, just came back, played 20 minutes. I think it was 20 minutes, 24 minutes in that game on Saturday. He's at 3-2. So, like, I'm playing 2 lineups, I think. I'm playing good on my second lineup just because he opens up another stud. So that's how I'm going to be playing Illinois. Any thoughts there on what I said, and then any interest in the ancillary guys that are more expensive, like Ncaa or Coleman Hawkins?
So with Luke Good, like if Terry Shannon, I mean, we're talking about how Terry Shannon's probably gonna be out. So Luke Good, he just brings so much more than Sincere Harris. Like Sincere Harris does nothing out there, so he should be getting every single Sincere Harris minute. So I actually love the Luke Good call. I think I want to play him over I don't know. All these guys are really good, but like that 3-2 makes a big difference. It even lets you do a double stud lineup with Flip and Wilson if you want to. So you can do that. I'll be on Luke, and then like I said, I'll be on Luke Good, but I do kind of like Danger over not Meyer. I'm not that stupid, but over Coleman Hawkins. I'd rather take a stab on Danger. I think he can go off and it's the interior. He can easily go for a double. And Jaden Henley from Minnesota. I think he's super cheap playing max minutes. He's another guy who can also do a lot of stuff. Kind of like a Ty. You can go Ty Rogers and Henley and just have two guys that are very active in this game. They might not score amazing, but they'll. I mean, you're never going to be down and out because they're always going to be trying to be active out there.
Yeah. And then let's go to the other side. Interesting spot for Minnesota. So they got Dawson Garcia, their usage leader, back over the weekend. He's at 7.9. He actually smashed Illinois when they played last time. I think the guy who had him won the Q that night. Stepped right back into big minutes, played 31. So when he's healthy, this team is pretty condensed. They're going to play Garcia. They're going to play Talon Cooper. They're going to play Jamison Battle the entire game. And then Henley, Payne, and Ola Joseph are going to fight for the other minutes. They basically cut everyone else out. What I would love for them to do, Kurt, is start Farrell Payne over Ola Joseph. Farrell Payne is a stud. This guy's going to be 8K next year, and we're going to be jamming him. He's 6K tonight. He's my favorite qualifier player, like roster of the entire slate. I'm playing him in 2 out of 3. He's at 6K. I think he outscores Lively here, and he's going to be what 10% owned, something like that. I like that. He looked so good on Saturday. I don't know how the coach continues to start Ola Joseph over him. I mean, they play the same position. We saw kind of like the passing of the torch last game a bit. So Payne played 30 minutes. Ola Joseph really without foul trouble, only 19. So hopefully that's something that's starting to happen. And then cheaper, I really like Jaden Henley at 4.4. He's like a safe value piece, plays multiple positions. The rates have ticked up. I really like him. He's probably the best play, like the best raw fantasy point per dollar play on Minnesota. So yeah, my main interest with this team lies in Henley and then definitely Payne for tournaments. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. The Payne call is ballsy. I like that. I like that a bunch, especially at 6K. Like, man, if you imagine how popular he'd be if he was like 5K.
Yeah, he would be the highest owned guy on the slate.
Exactly. Jaden Henley too. Feels very safe. A lot of good 4K plays. I feel like the slate might be one in that 4K range actually, which is kind of rare.
Yeah. Do you like anyone else besides those two, or is it just?
I mean, Jamison Bowers going to chuck threes, but I'm not going to play him. Talon Cooper usage is gigantic, but he fucking sucks. Literally misses every single shot. Dawson Garcia is just too expensive. I mean, it's super contrarian play, but I'd rather just play L. Ellis and hope the Duke game's close, honestly, in that range.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the last game here. Kansas at TCU, the big one. I've got 9 guys from this game in the playbook. We'll start with the question that we got from chat from VIP. Shahada Wells is going to win me all the money. What do you think? I don't think that's going to happen because Mike Miles is back. Shahada Wells was starting only because Mike Miles was out. Mike Miles is the usage leader, and he's going to play 35-plus minutes here. We saw Shahada, like you can see it, 30, 29, 35 minutes, and then when Miles comes back, right down to 20. I think 20 is probably higher than the minutes that he usually sees. I mean, TCU won that game by 25. I think if this is a close game, which it should be, we'll see max minutes for Miles, for Baugh, and for Miller. And then Lampkin, Wells, O'Bannon, Coles, Cork, Peavy fighting for 15 to 25 each. Do you agree with that, Kurt? What do you think?
Yeah, there's no way. I'm not playing PB either. I'm not playing it. I'm playing Mike Miles, and I'm playing Mike Miles. I'm playing Mike Miles, and I'm playing Mike Miles. As far as the guards go for TCU, forwards, I like to get a little tricky with the forwards there. I'm going to have not in a main team, but some ancillary lineups or my other lineup. I'm going to have a little forward roulette here in this game. I'm going to have some Lampkin. I like the upside. I mean, that's an RPS guy, so it's extremely risky, but I will have some Lampkin. I'm actually going to go Iedo too. I think he's been playing better lately. TCU has a big front court, might need him a little bit more. Adams is smaller. It's not really affected him in all year, honestly. The dude's been playing way bigger than his size, so that's awesome for him. But I think they might need a little bit of Iedo here, so I'll take a stab on Ernest Iedo. He's looked a little bit better lately. Coming along, slowly.
Yeah,
a lot of freshman. Big
yeah, he's looked pretty good. Tough road matchup. For TCU, Miles is the best play. Emmanuel Miller is a really fun pivot. Especially if we get to those late games and you got off to a bad start and you're holding Miles, you can just go to Emmanuel Miller for 400 less, who's going to be way less owned. On the Kansas side, Kurt, I'll let you start. Do you have a favorite play? We've got basically their entire starting five, I think, are all in play.
I'm not doing it, Steve. I'm not going to say what you want me to say, damn it. Okay. So yeah,
that's actually not what I was trying to do.
I love Dick. No, but it feels trappy, but God, Dwayne Harris is just staring me right in the face. Every single build I make, everywhere I go, I see him, and I know he's going to burn the fuck out of me, but I can't do it. I just can't.
I'm not playing Dwayne Harris. No way.
I can't do it. I keep falling that range though, but man,
dude, he's 6'7".
I don't know how he was. He had 30 people played him on Saturday and fucked me. I mean, he was way overowned on Saturday and somehow got there late. After having
he had 0 points at halftime, and then they stopped guarding him, and he went 6 of 8 on basically layups.
It was so stupid.
Dwan Harris should not be priced within 500 of Grady Dick. He is a way better play at 7.2 than Dwan Harris is at 6.7. Dwan Harris is like a floor play at 6K. I'm not playing him here. So yeah, I mean, my favorite play, as it is every time Kansas on the slate, is Jalen Wilson. I'm hoping that people get some sticker shock there. All-American is going to take a million shots, double-double. He's one of, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 guys on the slate with 50-plus upside. And with the Illinois value, especially if it breaks the way that we think it's going to, it's very easy to afford him. So I like playing Jalen here. It's a big team total. It's the highest game total of the game. It's the highest pace game. So yeah, Jalen's my priority. Outside of that, I'm scared about KJ Adams because every minute that Ernest Uday plays, Adams is not on the court. So I'm scared about Adams. I don't like the price on Dwan Harris. Kevin McCullough's playing through an ankle injury. It hasn't really showed up in the box scores yet. Tough. I don't know. It's just tough for me to click a guy at 7.7 playing through an ankle injury. It's Wilson. Grady Dick is my second favorite play, and then McCullough just because the peripherals are so good. I'm not going to play Harris. I'm not going to play Adams. So for me in this game, Jalen Wilson's a priority play. Did I put him in the core? I did. Yeah. I'm playing Jalen Wilson on all of my lineups tonight. It's Wilson, it's Grady Dick, Mike Miles, and then an Emmanuel Miller or Lampkin, I think, are my favorite plays here. Any last words on this game before we go to the questions in the chat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you play 7-7 for a bum ankle McCullough who legit can't score. I love McCullough. I was playing at 3K when he was at Tech. The guy can't score. I'm not playing 7-7 on a bum ankle for a dude who can't fucking score on the road. There ain't no way. I can't do it. I don't care if he gets 18 rebounds. I can't.
he's going to get those 18 rebounds.
I know. He's going to get like 8 steals. Oh, my God. And Dwayne Harris is going to have 15 assists and 10 points. Like, fuck, dude. I'm not doing that. I'm playing Jalen Wilson. Take get some shots on Udo. And with TCU, it's mostly just Miles and taking shots on Lampkin, but I like Miller if I fall in that range. I've been falling on 6-7, but if I do fall on 7K, I am clicking on Miller.
Do you have a preference, Wilson versus Filipowski, if you had to choose one?
I'm going flip. I like his upside more. If the game stays close, his upside. If the game stays close, his upside is 50. If this game stays close, I still think Wilson can smash. The floor is like 35, but there's a chance for this game stays close and he only gets like 42. I know if the Duke Louisville game stays close, Flip's getting 50. Yeah. So I'm going flip.
All right. Let's go to the question in the chat. I'll start with the live show chat questions. Mike Miles and Good or Bryce Thompson and Whitehead. I like one side because it has an All-American in it.
Prioritizing Miles.
Yeah, I'd go with the Mike Miles side. Number 2, 5,500 last piece. I'd go Whitehead there at 5.2. You're real close to like the Oklahoma State guys and Kedrian. And then from the NCAA basketball chat, I hope these guys are watching. Top 2 guys in the 4,500 range. That's going to be like your Ty Rodgers, your Henleys, your Toussaints, Lampkins. Just answered on show. 5,500 last piece. We just did that one. Yeah, let me grab the starters real quick. So we got the Louisville game. And the West Virginia game. I'll post them in chat and I'll read them off here.
God, this seems the nuts. Oh my God.
All right, Louisville.
That seems beautiful.
James Ellis, Huntley Hatfield, Trainer, and Withers. Duke, Lively, Roach, Proctor, Mitchell, Filipowski. So no surprises there. Just so anyone who doesn't know, Whitehead does come off the bench. Is the 6-man. I'm putting that in chat. And then the other game, Oklahoma State. Cisse is not starting, Kurt. It's Thompson, Asbury, Wright, Newton, Boone. So same lineup there. No surprises for OK State or Louisville. And then West Virginia, Adrian, Stevenson, Matthews, Mitchell, Bell. So no surprises there. So no surprises in the lineups. Any other questions, fire them in the chat. We got about 5 minutes to lock here. Trainer going to win me a Q. Yeah, I think he's a interesting pivot as a cheap guy with some upside. Stephen Coy, if Shannon is somehow in, we'll probably know that about 45 minutes or an hour before that game starts. Just make sure to go in the Discord because I will be going through a complete lineup changes myself. So I will discuss anything that we need to do. But the way that I'm building, if you follow my core and kind of what we talked about on this show, you'll have plenty of salary to move around and make those pivots. And there's a ton of good plays in those last 2 games, even if he does play. So I think we'll be good. Hawkins, Garcia, or Miles last piece from Gio. Mike Miles for sure for me.
Wow.
Is it the same?
100%
Faded
Miles.
the KU TCU game in one build. You can always register for tomorrow.
Oh my God. I mean, I
wouldn't fade the game entirely.
No, like just take Proctor. Miles and Wilson at least.
Is Proctor a decent last man in? This guy's probably not watching the show. I prefer the OK State or guards there. All right. I don't see any more questions. Any last thoughts here, Kurt? We are going to be on the playback. At least I am going to be with Holden. That's at 9 Eastern. We're going to be watching the Kansas TCU game. I bet TCU -1.5. So if you want to ride with me, bet that. Holden's a big Kansas fan, so we can fade him as well. So that'll be fun. My lineups are in. Kurt, are your lineups in?
Got one more. I'm fucking had to play lively in one. I wanted to full fade him.
I'm full fading him. I'm playing Payne.
I
I just came to one where I got Whitehead as last man in. I kind of like that. It's got my core with.
I think I'll go Payne and leave 700.
I guess we're close enough to lock. It's my core with Payne and Whitehead, which I think is fun. Yeah, so I like those two builds. Good luck in the queue tonight. I know we have a bunch of people in the queue. And then for Tuesday and Wednesday, those are massive slates. So Kurt and I will be doing the playbooks. The biggest thing on those huge slates is to comb through the player notes, right? Just, take 20 minutes or whatever it takes to go through the player notes. That top section I do in a couple minutes, but the player notes Kurt and I spend a lot of time on. So that's where you're going to get the best info. If you read through the player notes, you'll know who we're seriously considering or not. The people who have been with us, when you read, like been with us throughout the season, when you read through the player notes, especially the ones that I do, I know, Kurt, if you just read through, you basically know who I'm playing. And I usually run 1 to 3 teams and just put all of my money behind that. Let me see if there's any last minute questions. Whitehead 39 on FanDuel. Yeah, play him there. Appreciate the
Yes,
show.
super cute. I don't know my FanDuel builds.
That sounds like a
There
lot.
was some. Steve, you could easily do lineups with Wilson and Flip.
On DK?
No, on FanDuel, Flip was 7,600.
Plays of the day. Yeah, Kurt, what's your play of the day? Mine's gonna be Feral Payne. I don't know. It's a pace up. I think he gets overlooked here. I think everyone just clicks Lively or the guards there.
Give me John Michael Wright on the road.
Sweet. I just locked him in on my main team.
Let's go.
All right. So we just locked. For those of you who are new, I post all of the lineups in the NCAA basketball Discord channel. So if any news pops up, I usually post the news or the lineup and then my reaction to it, because I'm also going through and changing things. So if you see something come through, and then after you see what I'm doing, if you have any questions, just fire it in the chat and I'll see it. Just try not to do it 70 seconds before the game locks, if at all possible. We'll be back for the playback at 9 o'clock. I guess that's in 2 hours. I'm going to go grab some grub, Kurt. Are you staying up for the first half of that game at least?
So it depends how I'm looking. If I'm setting pretty, I'm going to come on with you guys, but I can't have a sit because I know we're going Wednesday too. I can only take so much heartbreak. We start late, so if I'm not dead, if I'm live in all the main contests, I'll be in.
Yeah, and then last note, there is a 2-game night slate, so that core will be in Discord. I'll pin it.
I'll post a Showdown core too if y'all want to play Showdown.
Cool. All right. Thanks for hanging out, Kurt. I'll see you in a bit.
See you in a little bit. Later.